When will the AI hype bubble burst? I've been asking that question for about a year now. I think artificial intelligence is really interesting, but we are really early in that whole development cycle. What's artificial intelligence going to do for us? How many things is it going to replace? That's really a big unknown. We already have a lot of automation that is very quickly being relabeled as AI. For example, you oftentimes call into a call center to get service on a product and you engage with a chatbot, or you can just chat with a service center to get an answer to a question you have. That's nothing new. That's been around for years. Siri and Alexa, they've been around for more than 10 years, and two of the biggest companies in the world powered those solutions. Apple with Siri, and that at the beginning was met with a lot of excitement and curiosity. I thought it was fun to play with Siri, ask questions, sometimes ask a silly question to see what Siri would say. But that faded, and just about no one uses Siri anymore. Alexa also had a disaster of an ending. Amazon really bet big on Alexa, and it didn't end up really creating a whole lot of value for consumers. And that app has been abandoned. Those are two real AI related examples that failed. And basically, this new technology is going to continue to fail, and we'll see if it's really adopted. In the meantime, there's been some stocks that have just really gone up parabolic. Nvidia being the poster child for the whole AI hype. Other companies that are associated have really gone up. For example, Dell Computer. It really went up. This is historically a hardware company that has lower margins than a pure technology company like an Apple or an Alphabet or Meta. Yet their stock price doubled in 1 year. Well, that was met with reality today. Dell had their earnings report, and the stock in after hours trading is plummeting. They met their sales goals, but they couldn't continue the AI hype and have these unrealistic expectations in the next quarter and for the remainder of the year. Reality is setting in that AI is interesting. It's probably going to drive additional unit sales, but it's not going to double or triple the revenue of Dell. And Dell was a hand-picked hardware provider by Nvidia. Nvidia pointed at Dell and said that this is the hardware partner the company should go to retool for AI. I guess that wasn't enough. At the end, I think the AI hype bubble is going to resemble the dot com bubble. Now, the dot com bubble was just too early of a run up of stocks, and those stocks ran up too high. The internet boom really created a lot of value. Let's face it, you're watching this video on the internet. The internet's provided great value. I think it's really been a huge asset to mankind, frankly. We can learn on the internet, we can communicate with each other, video conferencing, social apps, I mean, online banking. I can go on and on. The internet has certainly been huge, massive, and it really did deliver. Early on in the days of the internet, there was a lot of hype, and a lot of the companies that appeared early no longer exist. They were complete busts. And I'm really seeing that the AI hype cycle really resembles that time. Yet the difference is that I'm quite a bit older and I have much more capital that I invest now. And I have more wisdom. Having lived through the dot com era, I was able to see what was real, what was not real, and how to really prove out, a business model that would work in that time in the internet age, this time in what we're entering, the AI age. So I'm searching for true business models in the AI space. If I find them, I'm going to get more bullish, more confident that the AI era has arrived. Until then, I just continue to be amazed that so many people are repeating the hype cycle that we had that resembles the internet hype cycle. Now, a lot of the great companies of the internet cycle had their stock prices run up and they really crashed. Even the great Microsoft, if you study their stock chart, really reached a very high level during the dot com era. And it took them many years, well over 10 years, to ever get close to the stock price where they were at. That's maybe the case for Nvidia. I would not be surprised if Nvidia has a severe crash in the next 2 years and it'll take more than 10 years for it to ever get close to this current stock price that it has today. We'll see. We'll see if that expectation is right or wrong. The beauty of investing, and one of the reasons I love investing, is that we observe the markets, we observe the economy, we value companies, and then we have to make a decision of what we think is going to happen. For me, I believe that AI is interesting, but there's no real business use cases yet. And until that happens, this value investor is going to be careful with AI. I'm not going to buy into hype cycles because I think a lot of people are going to be severely hurt when they realize that their stocks are going to plummet in some cases. A good example is Supermicro Computer. I have nothing against that company. I think they're a good company, but I just think their stock price is way too high. If you look at their stock chart, there's no real fundamental reason why the stock has run up so much. And let me remind you of something. I'm an individual value investor, and I'm not intending on just saying bad things about companies. I'm not recommending you buy any of the companies I just talked about. I don't recommend you sell any of the companies that I just talked about. I don't recommend you short stocks. I don't recommend you buy options on stocks. I'm just sharing my experience. One of the beauties of YouTube is that investors share their experience, their knowledge, and we all get to learn, but we all make our own decisions on stocks. And I hope you look at your decisions around stocks and investments very carefully. I offer no financial advice. So as we proceed forward, I really am interested in seeing what the next chapter of AI looks like. I think this first chapter that we've been through has certainly made a lot of promises. But as we are beginning to see in some of these stocks, we're beginning to get into a chapter where these stocks are going to have to put up or shut up. They're going to have to prove that they have a business. They're going to have to prove that they have a business that's going to last for the next 5 years. And the pundits are going to have to also start pointing out to real life examples. It's not enough to, pump up a stock and just say it's going to go up because it's been going up. And AI is just going to be an infinite amount of value. It's not. It's really, I think it could be something interesting that brings value add. But I think it's exaggerated when the CEO of Nvidia considers it the fifth industrial revolution. I think Nvidia is a great company, but the fifth industrial revolution, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think it's going to be interesting to see AI. But until the CEO of Nvidia starts showing real examples, not just little, gimmicky trials, then I'll start believing. Real examples. I'll give you a real example. Waymo, which is a company that Alphabet owns, has been really operating self-driving cars. And they've been operating self-driving cars in various cities in the US. That is artificial intelligence. That is a car that is driving people around without a driver, without a human driver. That's really impressive. I'm just amazed by it. I've never been in one. I'd like to ride one, but I've been driving on the roads and observed a Waymo car next to me. And even from that perspective, it was pretty amazing. I also heard that in China, they're going to open up self-driving cars and routes for that service to take passengers around. That's amazing. That's a real example of AI. Now, that's been around for a while. Waymo has been in development for more than 10 years. It's taken that long to get to that point. It's not readily available. It's not available in every city. And I don't think the public is ready for that type of transportation to operate in their cities. We'll see how soon cities are, adapting to that and are comfortable with that. We'll see if they just want to block it altogether. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, but it is interesting to watch. My point in that example is these things are going to take a long time. We don't even know if Waymo is going to be profitable or not. Alphabet is careful with their AI. And in the case of Waymo, how much does each unit cost? Is it going to be cost prohibitive? Is it going to make sense for, these technologies to be deployed, or will it still be far less expensive and the economics will continue to favor basically Uber with people driving people around? I'm not sure, but I'll certainly be a fan with a front row seat and watching what happens with Waymo, as well as other businesses that come up that are AI related. So I wanted to share a video on the AI related stocks and the trends and just put my thoughts out there. I like recording videos, if anything, so I can come back and watch these videos maybe in a year's time and see where I was at with regards to the marketplace, make some notes on what I was seeing and observing, and be able to see if I was accurate or inaccurate, how far off I was from my expectation. I'd love to hear comments from you on what you think of the AI hype cycle, the AI markets, AI stocks, anything AI related. Please make a comment, good or bad. I'd love to hear and learn and see what your perspective is on it. I really appreciate you watching the video, and I hope you found it interesting.